Hi guys, my name's Electra Montiadis and I'm a teacher at Adelaide High School and have been there since 2006, and my subject areas are design, innovation, creative arts, visual arts. This year I have embarked on a team teaching experience with a very talented teacher by the name of Greg Ma, if anyone knows him. And he is a very well respected drama teacher, and over the years he has developed the program, basically technical production, and it's a way of sharing the load and having students contribute to the school performance on a holistic level. Now, Adelaide High School's going to be 115 years old this year, so we're the first public high school in the state, so we have quite a rich history of musical productions, and basically we've always had a really amazing showcase of student talent through drama, music, and also the visual arts, where they've actually contributed through making film sets and also like the graphic design, the marketing. So it's been a very healthy mix of skills. The collaborative approach obviously showcases student learning, and what we try and do is capture that within the subject of creative arts. And as I mentioned before, it captures all the disciplines of the arts and through the practical course. So for those that haven't taught, I've based this presentation on people who are new, so please bear with me. Basically, the creative arts course structure is split. Task 1, which is a practical and folio, 50%. The skills task 2, which is worth 30, and the investigation worth 20. Now, normally I would start with the skills, but because this year we are presenting our production, it's called Bring It On, and we need to get onto the practical component, which is basically designing costumes, and I'll show you in a little while all the roles that students can select in part of that process. You can see the photos are from our previous production, which was Legally Blonde. You can see people like in rehearsals, in makeup, hair. So we're giving kids the opportunity to focus on their area of interest. Class context for this year, Bring It On the musical. There's approximately 40 kids. It's the first time we've actually had 2 classes worth of students, so it's actually growing in popularity. Normally we do vertical grouping, but it's one class. So this is the first time it's actually been offered with 2 teachers in a very big space, not unlike this space here. So we have flexibility to move around. We've allowed the students to work collaboratively. We have a lot of complexities in the class, some hearing, so hard of hearing, should I say, and others just differing learning needs, and with the 2 teachers floating around, we can actually support the students. So basically they've been allowed to choose the musical or not. About 10% of the cohort have now decided that they don't want to do the school production. They want to participate in their choice, and 2 of those choices are Mean Girls and The Lion King. The boy who's doing The Lion King, He has special needs, but is really passionate about dance, and we've managed to support him through choreography. So he wants to develop his practical, he wants to do a piece on choreography. Mean Girls was chosen because the student is passionate about that particular show, and she's very interested from the perspective of directing. So we've allowed the flexibility, the differentiation of the students to meet their interest and needs, but at the same time we're mostly working toward the production, which is going to be held in June. So we do have a tight deadline to work with. And as I mentioned before, it is vertically grouped, year 10, year 11. And there's some really positive things about doing that, in that it kind of creates this encouragement of the younger year levels to get involved. So next year, if they do creative arts, then they become mentors for the younger ones. So, and this has happened throughout the years, even before I've been involved. We have a very strong performing arts program, and it basically leads to a 10-unit program, regardless of being year 10 or year 11. The year 10s, it's almost like they rise to the occasion, because they are being, in a way, mentored by the year 11s. So the vertical grouping is super effective. Okay, so this year, as I mentioned before, we are 2 teachers and we bring diverse skills. My skills are, I would say, more building, using technology, laser cutting, in particular, that can connect with set design, like making mock scale models. My colleague, Greg Ma, who's the most amazing drama teacher, he has obviously the performance background. So I'm of the practical makerspace kind of background, whereas Greg is really strong with his understanding of how theatre works, and lighting, directing, choreography. And so we are pooling together these skills that are giving students the best opportunity to grow. So I feel because, as I said, the classroom is very similar to where we are now in terms of space, we're able to branch out into different areas of, it's actually 2 classroom spaces that are open, and it allows the costume designers to work together, the graphic designers to work together, the set designers, and so we've kind of got all these little groups which are putting together all their energy in a really positive way. And it's at the moment it's really just trying to help them like focus and plan like their direction. So as I mentioned, we're doing the production, so I feel it's a real synergy of energy that's sort of flowing through the school, because it's creating a buzz. Kids want to be a part of the production, whether it's cast or crew. And the really beautiful thing is that like being crew is just as critical as being a performer. And like the shy kids, and we have a lot of kids that suffer from anxiety, that can still be part of that. So it's very inclusive to allow kids to do that. So I mentioned that our production is going to be held in June, so the kids have had to make really fast decisions. So you can see the potential like different areas that the kids have chosen, but at the end of the day it is student choice. And set design, painting props, that's something that I guess I will be leading in the area of like a visual arts capacity. And I'll be, I guess, engaging with the actual people who make the props. Bring It On is setting in America. It's sort of a high school theme. It's about a girl who goes to a poor school and basically revitalises the love of music through hip hop. And so there's a lot of graffiti, and so we will be designing sets that are multi-use. So, for example, the idea is we do like a graffiti wall, which then drops down and becomes actually a stage for the next scene. So we're trying to be really flexible with that. Graphic design, marketing, currently the kids have been designing logos, and although not every logo is going to be successful, it's part of that process, and it's gone through almost like a competition. We have chosen one, but unfortunately I couldn't get my hands on it. But it's been really exciting because the kids, again, like they're competing and they want their logo to win. But it's been really, really good. So next week it will be announced, and t-shirts will be printed, so the buzz will go around the school even more. And then the kids who choose to do all the marketing material, like advertising, promotion around the school, will use the logo along with whatever they select. Costume design, there's a lot of kids who really enjoy designing, and I should also mention too that it's really nice to use the design process in no matter what you're doing, because it gives students a very clear direction. And if you have a look at the curriculum outline, it actually it helps them achieve milestones within that, and then obviously reflect on the final results. So you can see, so for the people over here, probably can't see, makeup, technical, back of house support, lighting, directing, music, front of house. So it's not all about a tangible product, it's about getting them involved in an aspect of the performing arts. They don't have to have a physical product, it could be the recording of a process of a product. And that's a really exciting part because it means it's achievable for all. Who's my timekeeper? Okay, just some photos of a previous production. You can see how invested the students are. They are there 200%, like they really want to be there. And you can see like they're just really enjoying the process. And it's not just the performance, it's the journey there that's really important. And for those people doing an intangible product, this is the evidence that you need to be collecting. This is the stuff you need to be talking about and writing about. And it's almost like a visual diary. And part of the criteria is it can be multimodal. And you can see here the set designs, like obviously the costumes, you know, there's a lot of thought that's gone into that, a lot of preparation, but just the way colour has been used, the elements and principles of art and design, clearly like reflected in those results, I suppose. So we start off with a brief. We work collaboratively. We've actually showed students exemplars. A lot of them have actually participated last year in previous shows. The script is obviously the most important part of your brief. You need to know what you're designing for, and we operate the who, what, why and how, and we also encourage like collaboration. So you can see I've written the logo there. The logo kicks off the process, like just the first task, that's what we do. And now everyone's going to fall into their chosen positions. So as part of that folio, they need to look at a practitioner, and they need to look at what they do, how they do it, and then be able to reflect on that and then demonstrate their learning in their practical like component of the task. So what is success? You know, how do they apply it? How have they recorded and documented their process? And for us as teachers, how do we apply milestones to that? And that's all in the course outlet. Yep. Course outline. So teacher basically facilitates skill. Like I said before, there might be some master classes where we generate some interest in how to make something. How do you make a file for laser cutting? Like how do you use colour, like for contrast, or to make something stand out? So the teacher fills in that spot when needed, like, and steps back, like, and lets the student like develop their knowledge in their own time. So the skills, very similar. How do you develop the skills? Again, you record it, multimodal. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Student is encouraged to engage students in interacting with practitioners who use those skills. Maybe find a primary source. If not, tutorials online. There's so many ways. Again, students work independently, and basically having the two teachers means double the mentorship if required. And again, a practitioner statement allows them to like state their success in their journey. So just as a reflection on what I've learned, and I think key things are Legally Blonde, Grease were the last two productions the school did, and they were a huge success. They gave entry points to all types of learners, and as well as the cast members, so it really broadened who was involved and like the buzz, I think, that it created. All these shows have basically performed to sell out crowds, thank goodness for parents and friends and staff who wanted to go. But what that has done, it's actually generated funds to offset the costs of the production. So it's been very entrepreneurial, and it's also like things like hiring seating, like proper stage seating, because our building was built in the 50s and it's not really equipped for large audiences. So we have to hire it in at quite a huge cost. We have to hire costumes and marketing materials, that kind of thing. So that does cost money, and it's a brilliant way of like paying for itself, I guess, in a way. It's also set a precedent, I feel, for Year 10s to pursue creative arts too at stage 1. Now, for those creative arts teachers, whether it's visual art, whether it's design, I've really struggled with the fact that I've lost over the years some of my best students to the fact that they're not allowed to study those subjects at Year 12 because they've only got the 4 subjects plus the research project. So a way to counteract that is to follow this kind of program, in that it allows Year 10s to pursue stage 2 at Year 11. And I've got a few students doing that now through the visual arts. and they're thanking their lucky stars because they wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise. So the point I'm trying to make here is you need to lobby with your school principals and say we need to be able to do this in order to keep our numbers. I'm really excited about how many Year 10s we've got involved that will become mentors for the next year's lot. So the musical has generated a lot of activity around the school. It's created a sense of community, a sense of belonging, which you don't really get. Really, you get it in sport, but you don't get it anywhere else. And this is a way to kind of, again, sort of balance out music. And just, I suppose, we've had a lot of success with it, and hence the growth in numbers. Students vote with their feet, and we've now doubled our class sizes. And with I'm mindful, I'm a couple of minutes over, just mindful that last year, so 2 years ago, we had our first Year 7s, and we've got an extra 300 students. So the flow-on effect of building a really, really positive program means that in a couple of years' time, those kids are going to feed into the Year 10, and if we do it correctly, we're going to have very, very strong arts-focused education. Thank you.